Hey, it's me Man here, and this is a more detailed tutorial on how to use micarta for knife handles. If you'd like to know how to make micarta, click the annotation now, which will take you back to my previous video on how to make micarta. You'll need micarta, a knife blank, and some rivets. By rivets, I just mean some round metal rod that's non-corrosive. Here I'm using copper, but I would have preferred brass, and stainless steel is also a good option. As far as tools goes, you'll just need sandpaper, a drill, and some super glue, and some shaping tools. It'd be like a linen shard, Dremel, files, or an angle grinder with a flappy disc, but not all of those are necessary. I should make note that any sanding work you want to do on the blade itself should have already been done by this stage, because it would be much harder to do once the micarta scales are attached. So you're going to have to decide how you want the micarta scales to sit on your knife, and also where you're going to want to put the rivets. I recommend around 3 rivets, just looks right. You're going to want to drill holes the size of the rivets into the knife handle, and to make sure that the holes in the knife handle line up with holes in the scale, actually clamp the scales to the knife handle and use the holes already in the handle as a guide, and then you remove the first scale and repeat with the second. So you're going to want to put the scale onto the knife handle, and with a permanent marker trace out the outline of the handle, and then you can cut out the shape with a coping saw. Don't cut too close to the line, just you're trying to remove the bulk of material. So you might have noticed at the end you can't actually trace out a shape because that's where it goes from the handle to the knife. So here you're just going to have to decide what you want to look like, and I've gone with a curved taper finish. So just to explain what will happen later, we're actually going to glue the scales onto the handle, and then all the finishing and shaping will be done while it's on the blade. Except for the very end where it goes to the blade transition, this will be very hard to put shape and put a finish on without actually damaging the finish that you've already put on the blade. So we're going to shape and finish the ends of the scale now before it's clamped onto the blade. Easiest way to make these symmetrical is actually clamp the two scales together. Once the end of the scales are shaped, you then want to sand and finish them using the super glue method. Now I'm assuming you've watched the video previous to this in which I explain the super glue method. If not, I'll put an annotation up now and I'll set it up so it opens a new window so you don't lose this one. Once the end of the scales are finished, you can then glue them to the handle. Now the rivets we're using aren't technically rivets because we're not riveting them or mushrooming the ends, as this would likely damage the micarta. So they're just glued in place. So cover all the surfaces with glue and glue them together, push a rivet through and clamp it up. Just make one note, you do want to have excess glue to clamp it all together, but up towards the end where it goes towards the blade transition, try not to put too much glue there because you don't want too much excess spilling out to where the blade is. And if you do get a bit of excess spilling out there once you clamp it, just wipe it away. And yeah, that's it, and then just need to wait for it to cure. When the glue is cured, shaping begins. The first thing you want to do is make the micarta and the rivets all flush with the handle, and I'm using a flappy disc on the angle grinder to make light work of this. Other than that, the shaping's completely up to you. I do, however, recommend going into the layers because this really brings out the beauty of the micarta. However, the more complex the shape, the harder it will be to sand, and that's what next is sanding using the super glue method again. Just to emphasize, you should be wearing a respiratory mask throughout this entire process. Throw us a like if you found the information useful, and feel free to ask me any questions on anything you're uncertain with. Clicking on this here will take you to the previous video on making micarta. This video in the middle here will take you to a takedown bow tutorial, and this last one will take you to a homemade crossbow video. Also feel free to click the subscribe button where you'll get updated on all the videos I upload and all that good stuff.